When not to change the date on a watch. This is pretty straightforward. You don't want to change the date between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. And by the way, this is true for quartz watches and mechanical watches, be it hand winding movements or automatic movements. And the reason is simple. There's a mechanism that will engage around 9 p.m. that will make the date will move either over the course of several hours, which is the case in standard movements and mechanism, or instantaneously around midnight if you have an instantaneous date change mechanism. So you don't want to mess around that mechanism by changing the date when it's already engaged in changing the wheel itself. That will break the movement if you do that. Maybe not one time, but if you do that several times, well, that will break the movement for sure. So you don't want to take the risk, and you want to make sure that you do that the proper way. So how do you do that? Well, let's jump right into it. So let's pretend that this watch was stopped and you want to set the date. So you run it by turning the crown, and then what happens? Do you see like 10 past 5 in the morning or in the evening? How do you know that? Well, the answer is you do not know. That's impossible to know. So how to actually know that? It's actually to set the time and change the time and see when the date changes. So I'm approaching 12, and actually this is noon because the change didn't occur on the date wheel. So if I continue now and I turn the time all the way, you can see that now the date will change. And as you can see, it began around 10 p.m. and it changes now at midnight. If you change the date at 3 a.m., the problem is you have that hour hand just right in the middle of that window, right? So this is why I like to go to 5 a.m. for a simple reason. Some watches have their date window at 3, some have it somewhere here between 4 and 5, and some have it at 6. And when you put your watch at 5 a.m., well, you can see all 3 positions. So I know now that I'm in the morning, so I can go back to the first position and change the date. I have to turn counterclockwise here to change the date. No problem. I know that the mechanism is safe. And then when you're done, you can go to any other hour. Let me grab another watch which has the date and the day to see how this actually works. So again, I don't know if this watch is showing me the morning or the evening. So is it 9 past 5 in the morning or evening? I don't know. So I go to the last position and I change the time. And let's see. Okay, so the date is not changing. I was in the morning, now it's noon, and I continue, and I will see now the date change slowly from around 10 p.m., something like that. See, it begins to turn, then you have to change. The date doesn't change. See, now the day will change. So slowly you will go to the other language. Here it's in Spanish, and then it will go to the next day. You see there, red popping out, that's the Sunday. So again, if you want to set that and be really sure about what's happening, you go to 5 a.m. You can change the date here, the date right there. And when you're done, you can go and, set the time to where it is. Let's say it's 7 in the afternoon, no problem. So this is the morning, we passed noon, and then we go to 7 p.m. So actually, what do you have to do if you have to set your watch past 9 p.m.? Well, no problem. If you set the day and the date when it was 5 a.m., you can go upwards, no problem, and go to 9 p.m., no problem, even 10, even 11, no problem. Just go and, set the time where it is. Of course, the date will be right in the middle of the change, but that's not a problem. Now, the question is, how do you set your watch when it's, I would say, something like 1:30 a.m.? So this watch is actually stopped, and this is a good example. Let's pretend that I want to set the watch at 1:30 a.m. and I want to set the day and the date to, let's say, I don't know, Sunday the 26th, okay? So I don't know if I'm in the morning or in the evening. I have to check that out. So first and foremost, I will change the time up until I see that the date and the day will change. I was still, okay, I was in the evening, okay? You can see that everything's moving. So now I'm going to 5 a.m. This is really important to go and check if you are in the evening or in the morning before doing anything else, okay? So there you go. This is 5 a.m. and now it's safe for me to change the day and the date. So I will do that. Let me go back to the first position, and we said Saturday the 26th, but because I want to go to 1:30 a.m. actually I'm gonna set the day and the date one day before that. So let's go and set it to the 25th and to Saturday, which is right there, okay? And then, well, I go back to setting the time and I go all the way to 1:30 p.m. So I'm only gonna hit noon right now, and I do continue, blah, 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 blah. We're almost there. You can now see the date is changing, and past midnight, the day will begin to change, but it's not a problem because you are turning the mechanism in the right direction. You're not trying to change the date with the quick set mechanism. And so there you have it, 1:30 a.m. on the 26th. And you're asking me, well, why do I see Sam? So Sam is short for samedi, which means Saturday in French. How come we don't see Sunday? Well, that's because the day change is not complete yet. So if I do continue to turn this, you will see that around 3 a.m., well, ta-da, you have it. Sunday is there, and as you can see, it takes even longer with this watch. It's almost when you get to 4 a.m. that the change is complete. So this is why you want to go at least at 5 a.m. before doing anything else. And now here's another example with a instantaneous date and day change system that I have here on my Hamilton Khaki Pilot Day Automatic. It's actually stopped, so I don't know if I'm seeing 12:33 in the morning or in the evening. So let's check that out first and foremost. Last position, let's change the time, and the gear ratio here is a little bit smaller, so I will have to turn quite a bit to get it to noon or midnight, I don't know. Okay, now we just passed midnight because you saw that the date and the day changed instantaneously. So let's go to 5 a.m. and as I told you, as you can see, well, this watch right here, you have the date at the bottom of the dial at 6 o'clock. I'm just gonna go at like here to see the day as well. So now I can pretty much set my day and dates whenever I feel like it. So I would say like 25th and Saturday. Let's do the exact same thing than with the previous watch. And if I want to set now this watch to 1:30 a.m. Sunday 26th, well, I just go full circle. Now I'm going to go at, this is noon, and then I go again and again and again. You won't see anything happening if you look at the day and the date past 9 p.m. The only thing is the system is engaged nonetheless. So this is very important. You don't want to do anything between those hours because you might damage the movement, even if you don't see anything happening with the date and the day. Of course, this one around midnight will pop. I will go really slowly so that you can see it. So you can see Saturday, the 25th. Are you ready? Pop. Okay. Both changed instantaneously. You can almost not, I cannot see it with my bare eyes. I have to maybe shut this in slow-mo to see something. You really cannot see anything if you're looking at it. So now we'll go to 1:30 a.m. and there you have it. So let's pretend it's 10 a.m. and you have a lunch at 12:30 p.m. So you look at the date at this time and you see 24, and then you will check the time at around, I don't know, like 12:15 p.m. just to make sure that you don't run late. And so it's the 24th, and when you look at the time at 12:15, it's the 25th. So what happened there? Well, actually your watch was not set to the right time. It was not 10 a.m. in the first place, it was 10 p.m. So this is why it's very important to set the date when you're out of this danger zone, which comes from 9 p.m. all the way up to 3 a.m. The only problem is you don't know when that is because you have to see the day or the date change, so you want to get out of that zone by going at 5 a.m. By the way, if you change the date and the day at 5 p.m., well, your watch is safe too. It's just that you will just see the date change between 9 or 10 p.m. And if it doesn't, because this is an instantaneous change watch as well, well, you know that you will have to change that after noon, which was actually midnight. So if you wonder why your watch changes the date at noon, well, it doesn't. It was midnight for the movement. So guys, it's very important that you set the date after you set your watch at 5 a.m. or onwards, because if you don't, you run the risk of damaging the movement. Maybe not the first time, but if you do that repeatedly, you might run the risk of damaging the movement. So why take any chance? And if for some reason you do that, you do change the date at the wrong time, and all of a sudden the day or the date wheel do not move anymore, do not touch anything. Do not touch the crown or the movement, and bring your watch to an authorized dealer to get your watch checked up and repaired, because you just might have jammed up something in the movement that is easily repairable, but if you try to get it right, well, you might break it even further, and you don't want to do that. Just go to your authorized dealer and make your watch checked up. If you want to stay tuned about watches, for small race and watches in general, well, subscribe to the channel and check the little bell icon so you get notified as soon as I post a new video. And in the meantime, thank you so much for dropping by. Stay stylish and keep watching.